In July 1518, a woman named Frau Troffea stepped onto a street in Strasbourg, France, and started dancing. She danced for 6 days straight. Within a month, 400 people had joined her. Many danced until they collapsed from heart attacks, strokes, or organ failure. Historians estimate dozens died. This was not a celebration. There was no music at the start, and no one could stop it. This is the dancing plague of 1518, the most bizarre mass medical event in recorded history. July 14th, 1518. Frau Troffea begins dancing in public. Her neighbors laugh at first, then they notice her face, blank, staring, like no one was home. She does not speak, she does not sleep. By day 3, her feet are bleeding onto the cobblestones. Her husband drags her inside, but she keeps twitching on the floor. 1 week later, 34 people are dancing. They writhe, twist, and leap uncontrollably. Victims report seeing visions of blood or hearing voices commanding them to move. By early August, the number hits 200. The city council takes control. They do not quarantine the dancers. Instead, they follow the medical advice of their time. Hot blood. The cure? More dancing. They open 2 guild halls, a grain market, and even build a wooden stage. They hire professional dancers and a live band. The logic is to sweat out the poison. Instead, the hired dancers catch the condition. Spectators catch it. Even a few drummers begin jerking between beats. By the end of August, nearly 400 active cases. The death toll rises as victims suffer fatal exhaustion. One account describes a man collapsing mid-spin and the dancers behind him simply stepping over his body. The council finally realizes their mistake. They ban all public dancing. They transport the afflicted to a shrine of Saint Vitus, located on a hill outside the city. There, each victim is given a red cross and white shoes. Priests perform rituals and prayers. For 3 days, the dancers are isolated and prayed over. Slowly, the dancing stops. By early September, the last dancer collapses, not dead, but finally still. Strasbourg returns to normal, but no one ever explains why it started. For centuries, the leading theory was ergotism. Ergot is a fungus that grows on damp rye grain. It produces alkaloids similar to LSD. When people ate infected bread, they would experience convulsions, hallucinations, and a sensation of crawling skin. In the Middle Ages, outbreaks of ergot poisoning were common and often called St. Anthony's fire. Here's why ergot fits. Strasbourg had a wet spring in 1518. Rye was a staple crop. Symptoms of ergot include manic movement and psychosis. Here's why ergot fails. Ergotism also causes gangrene, blackened, rotting fingers and toes. None of the historical records from the dancing plague mention gangrene. Also, ergot tends to limit movement, not cause hours of coordinated dancing. And entire villages would have gotten sick from the same bread, not a selective 400 people. Most historians have now rejected ergot poisoning. The current accepted explanation is mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria. This happens when a group of people under extreme stress unconsciously replicate physical symptoms. Classic examples: fainting outbreaks in schools or laughing epidemics. Strasbourg in 1518 was a pressure cooker. There had been a severe famine. Thousands were dying of starvation. Syphilis was spreading through Europe. The church preached that divine punishment was imminent. In that environment, a single person's involuntary dancing acted as a social trigger. Witnessing it, stressed and starving people unconsciously mimicked the movements. The brain created real, involuntary muscle spasms. Medieval religious beliefs then amplified the episode. People thought they were cursed or possessed, which made them less likely to resist. This theory explains why the dancing spread faster once the council built stages and hired bands. They accidentally validated the behavior. Historians also classify this as a specific historical phenomenon called dancing mania, or choreomania. Outbreaks occurred across Europe between the 7th and 17th centuries. Major events happened in 1374 in Aachen, in 1237 where children danced from Erfurt to Arnstadt, and in 1536 in Basel. Key traits of dancing mania match 1518 perfectly. Victims claimed to see visions of saints or blood. They could not stop even when injured. The dancing spread through sight and sound. Prayers at saint shrines seem to end outbreaks. But here's the unsettling truth. No one knows for sure. The original Strasbourg records are incomplete. No autopsy notes exist. And mass psychogenic illness still happens today. Girls collapsing in schools, factory workers twitching on assembly lines. We just call it conversion disorder now. The difference is, we don't build them a stage, and we don't hire a drummer. So the dancing plague of 1518 remains the strangest ghost in European medical history. Proven, documented, and still, after 500 years, completely unexplained in its intensity. Thanks for watching. If you want more history that makes you question reality, hit subscribe.